Hello everyone! It is truly amazing what you can do with Excel. It's even more amazing what you can do when you automate Excel. We can do this with a Visual Basic for applications, but the beginning early learning stages can be quite frustrating to get a grip on. How can we learn VBA fast? How can I write an entire VBA project with only basic macro skills? What is the macro bank? Can I see an outline, a document map of my VBA project? How can I automate the dreaded data entry? We're going to answer all that and more in this video. Let's get started. The macro bank is an Excel add-in file containing a wide collection of useful macros gathered over the years. These macros can be run from where they are, or the code can be copied and pasted to your own project. It is organized for the absolute beginner to start with VBA. The first 20 modules are very basic, containing very easy macros for understanding and reference. How to select cells, how to enter values to cells, format cells, all the way to conditional formatting and array variables. This will greatly help first-time users of VBA to get a grip on how VBA works. Then we have the how-to modules that will help you in various tasks, such as adding calculated columns like the age from the created date, and the macro is smart enough to find the column that the created date is on and calculate the age based on that. Finding the last row with 5 different ways, special cells and current region, used range and find. Saving to PDF with one click, which also creates the folder to be saved to. Dealing with errors. Inserting buttons linked with other macros. Manipulating the position of the Excel and VBA windows, and so much more. Then we have the modules with the macros that control Outlook, PowerPoint, Word, file system, and even the VBA editor itself. This file is a huge boost if you're learning VBA and want to create a project of your own, because you're getting the knowledge and, unlike a book, you get ready-made macros able to run when you hit play. The question that naturally arises is, how big is this macro bank? Hold that question, I'll tell you exactly later on. Okay, that's all great, but there is something missing, and that is a proper interface to those macros. This is why we have the forms, but the problem is that since I'm adding new and editing old macros all the time, there is limited amount of space in a form to put the buttons. You can get the form bigger and you can use multi-page controls in the form to gain some space, but this can get quite hectic pretty easily. This has a negative effect on user friendliness, which is not good, and the linking between buttons and macros has to be maintained manually. Currently the macro bank has over 500 macros, and I need a form that will hold unlimited macros. Also, wouldn't it be great to have a document map for our VBA project, like a table of contents? In Word you have the navigation pane, and when you click on a title it takes you there. So if a VBA map is possible, I can click on a module and it will display only the sublines, as if they were titles. Let's see what that looks like. It is important to stay organized, and I like to see the Excel window on my left half of the screen and the VBA on my right part of the screen. Let's see a full screen. Sometimes you need a bit more space in the VBA window, and so you can have the Excel window on your left 1/3 of the screen and the VBA on your 2/3 of the screen. Here we have a list of all components, forms, module and class modules, and clicking one displays all sublines and the line that they're in within the component. You can add a module with one click. You can rename a module, and you can delete a module. And as a failsafe, you can only delete a module from this application if it's completely empty. The windows inside VBA have been a frustrating point for me for a very long time. And with this app, you can select the component that you're working with and force it into position in a predetermined size, and then do the same with the module you want to copy from. Double-clicking takes you directly to the macro. The line below the subline is intended for comments, and if there is a comment line, it will be visible in the form. You can run any macro from this form, and since this is a list box that can have a scroll down, I can have my unlimited macros. A macro counter will tell you how many macros exist in the selected module. Open your file or addin and make sure it's saved, and then select it from the combo box. You can select a subline and create a test macro there, set it as a working point, and then go back to the macro bank, highlight the lines that you need for your macro, and press the button. This can be done multiple times, and when done, click the button to go to the working point to work with your newly added lines. The macro bank does not have everything, but Google has. To ease your searching a bit, you can use the Google search, and this will write Excel VBA to the start of your text. The lines of code measure is not without its pitfalls, yet it gives us a quantitative measure of the size of a software project. And now it's time to answer the question, how big is the macro bank? It's 7,000 lines, of which 17% are comments and 30% is empty lines. We talked about the value of the code inside the macro bank and about the VBA map, but I feel more value should be available on this, so I have added a couple of other forms. The first 5 forms are instructional, but also very practical. This can give a lot of ideas and inspire you to create your own application. So the first one is the master, where it's a good example of just how simple it is for a form to run macros. Then we have the sheet selector, which serves as a table of contents for our sheets. It's very useful, and it's a staggering 4 lines of code. Let's go ahead and add a couple of sheets. The usual solution is to create a master sheet that has a hyperlink to all other sheets, and the macro bank also has the solution, but I much prefer the sheet selector. Then we list column A in the list box and other columns in labels. Then we explore text boxes and combo boxes. Then we explore check boxes and option boxes. Other forms included in the macro bank include the calculator, and with this calculator you can perform simple calculations in the selected cell. The pasteboard, where you can transfer to the pasteboard the values that are frequent and paste them where you want them. And you can also search for them. Excel has a very nice option if you right click on a cell, and that's called picked from drop down. This will display all values that are found in the column for easy data entry. This form is basically an easier version of that. The user form 1 reads your table and lets you easily enter data into it, and it of course respects formulas. So in conclusion, if you like what you saw here today, the macro bank is available at kissexcelvba.com. Thank you so much for your support. See you around.